I don't see how I'm going to be able to cut this video down without cutting out somebody's question, so I don't know. This might just be a long one. Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. How have you guys been? Are you stuffed? For my American friends, did you have a happy Thanksgiving? I got my handy dandy phone here to look at my community page because I asked you guys a question on YouTube. I said, give me your hot takes, and if there's enough of them, then I will answer them in a video. The very first one comes from Tina Huffman, and she says, I would really like to know, is there something so special about a palette that we need to pay $129 for it? Not being part of the makeup industry, really, I don't care if my palette has some famous makeup artist's name on it. I don't know these people any more than a passing stranger. Not that I can talk to my girlfriends and say, I got the Natasha or the Denona palette, I got a Patrick Ta blush. They would just look at me like, who? I think a lot of us are in that same situation with our friends. I just want something that will help me look put together, and a little younger thrown in there wouldn't hurt. And she has, at this time of recording, 13 thumbs ups on that comment. The word depends probably shouldn't be allowed to be part of an answer, right? But it kind of does depend. A lot of factors go into it. One of them you listed. You know, if you have friends, sometimes friends bounce off each other and they wind up buying things that, what I can say from me personally, being in an income bracket that doesn't allow for a $130 palette. Now, as I say that to you, I know you're probably looking right back here and going, Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath. These Pat McGraths here, those are the little ones. They don't cost $130. And this, Natasha Denona, was a gift. And I wouldn't pay $130 for eyeshadow. I don't have that kind of money. If I were going to stick $130 into something, it'd be more likely to be a brush set, because brushes are here forever. Wayne Goss, Sonia G, Chikuhodo, those kinds of brushes, if you take care of them, you'll have them for like ever. Whereas an eyeshadow palette's going to go bad, or it will get used up, or dropped on the floor and broke if you're me. A lot of people that are buying those expensive eyeshadows, palettes, they are collectors. They will have all those mini palettes. They'll have the little ones. They'll have the big ones. They'll have them all because they're a collector. For those people, it's always going to be worth it. Those two Pat McGrath palettes, they're nice. Don't get me wrong, I love them. But I have eyeshadows from, say, Sydney Grace that I think are every bit as good. Sometimes I would argue that they're better. Next, we have a 5-parter from Ann Phillips. Number 1, your nutritional supplements and exercise routine. I do stretches, but that's pretty much it. I try to walk at least 4,000 steps a day. I know that's going to seem like nothing, but when you guys figure I used to get like 600 steps a day, that's a lot. My nutritional supplements right now consist of magnesium, fish oil, CoQ10. I was going to say the vitamin C and the joint bursts because I've taken them for like forever, but I did recently stop taking both, and it has to do with keto and the carb situation. But I will expand on that somewhere else. Number 2, anything about menopause and your desire to lightly injure people in the Walmart parking lot or even inside, assuming that you have minimal fits of rage during this chapter of life. Menopause was over for me about, I'm going to say 5 years ago. I'm going to say I haven't had any symptoms at all for the last 5 years. Probably getting angry really quick and having patience was definitely a factor. The worst thing by far was hot flashes. I was lucky. I never got these night sweats. My sister did. Oh my goodness, she gets that bad. But I was very lucky. I didn't have that. The flashes, though, I know women who've had it worse, so much worse than me. My hot flashes were things like wanting to lay, not actually doing it, but wanting to lay on the floor in the Walmart because the floor was cool, and I would definitely find reasons to be, letting the poles, the the stainless poles that are in the stores. I would be like propping up against them, putting my face on them, going to the frozen food department and getting food and putting it on me. You know, get the peas in there, get the carrots, and I've got this stuff. And I felt really bad, but so what? I'm like thawing out the vegetables at Walmart. I would get them to the point where they would start to thaw and I'd have to get something else. Give me that pecan pie. I got that pie sticking in my pants. I feel like I'm not part of the club because I didn't have such a hard time of it. And at the same time, I'm very grateful that I didn't have such a hard time of it. Number 3 kind of goes along with number 2. It's about menopause, wanting to know whether or not I had hormone replacement therapy or not, and if not, why? No, I did not. 1, I wasn't having a hard time. Yeah, maybe I would have considered it more if I was having a really hard time, but 2, I didn't want no horse hormones in my body. And then later, I heard that it causes cancer. So yeah, it just wasn't an option that I thought about. The next one is aging parents. She wants to know how that's going. It's a new chapter in her life. I don't think of my parents as aging. They are, because I can look at them and see physically that they are aging. But both of my parents keep up with things. My mom especially, she's very up on technology. Both my parents are young at heart. Now and then, though, I think about my own age, and then I remember that they are getting older. And it's scary. It is really scary to think that there's coming a day when they won't be here anymore. And I'm so very lucky. Don't think it has escaped me at all that I'm 57 years old and I still have both my parents. So I know I'm very, very lucky. And the last one that Anne wants to know is, do I think of downsizing our home and stuff just because you're getting older? She does. The idea when we bought this house was, it was too small for our family. No doubt about that. But we weren't planning on staying here. The plan was to stay here for 5 years because we came into the house. We got a really good deal on it. We came into the house with equity. And we were going to stay 5 years. And then we were going to take that equity and the money that we had saved and go get the real house that we wanted. We never left. The kids loved the school. They didn't want to move away, and so we ended up staying here. And now here we are, all these years later, and we're still here. This is the perfect size house for 2 people. Our youngest is still here, but he won't be here probably much longer. We encouraged him to stay here, to go to college, stay here to get that down payment on a house. Now, if I have my way, and it won't happen, but if I have my way, we would leave here not to downsize, but just to get like a condo or something, because I don't like him having to work so hard on the yard, the gutters, the roof, the furnace. It's always something. So I personally would like him to take it easier, but he won't hear of it. But no, we wouldn't downsize to get something smaller. We would do it to get less responsibility. All right, Lisa says, maybe speak on how you manage back pain, what type of treatments that you've had thus far, and if you're able to exercise at all. She injured her back in May. Lisa, I'm so sorry, because back injuries can take forever to heal. The treatments that I've had, oh my gosh. What haven't I done? How far are we going to go back? I've been having problems with my back since my first child. I guess 24 years old. The first thing that happens with everybody, I think, isn't it physical therapy? Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've been to physical therapy. Physical therapy, I've been to chiropractors, I have been to acupuncturists. Pretty much if you can do it, I've done it. Even some wacky things that you're like, that's not going to work. I've actually been to a hypnotist. The things that people say are gimmicks, I've bought over the years. If I could have all of the money that I have spent trying to feel better, man, I'd be a rich woman. I could afford a $130 eyeshadow palette. Do I exercise at all? I have to be very careful about the exercises that I do. My doctor told me that he didn't want me lifting weights and stuff anymore. because I kept injuring myself. And I was also injuring things that weren't injured in the past, like my knees. I'm like, no, please. I do walking and stretching. I can sympathize with anybody who has a bunch of back pain. I know what it's like to look like you're not in pain, but you are in pain, and people think you're a hypochondriac. You know, I was just having this conversation with my son-in-law just the other day about when I used to work at the hospital and how I used to thank the Lord that I worked nights because I didn't want the neighbors to see me. Literally, there were times I crawled from the car to the house. Now, having said all of that, I don't want to say anything yet because I don't want to jinx it. You know, I'm afraid if I say it out loud, it's going to go away. But I am feeling so much better lately. I mean, I don't want you to get me wrong. I do still have pain, but it's like so much better than it was. So Maya says, not sure if you've already covered this, but maybe reminisce about how you used to put on makeup in the 80s. Oh, you know, I'm going to link a video for you. I did a collaboration with my BFF, Mary Ellen, and we talked about when we, you know, pretty much when we started wearing makeup or whatever. And for me, when I really got into what I consider makeup years were the 80s. And I did a video where I put on makeup the way I did in the 80s. I know that there's a lot of you that are going to identify this, that we were told at the cosmetic counters that concealer goes on underneath foundation. And on YouTube, and what you see us do is put concealer on after foundation now. So that, and to swipe your blush on a slant or only 2 shades of eyeshadow. Would love to hear your memories. Mine are a little different. I was obsessed with MTV. This is where it actually really started for me. A lot of girls, like Mary Ellen, in her video, she was talking about how she would look at magazines, and a lot of girls do this. They look at magazines for inspiration for makeup and stuff, but that wasn't me. Mostly because I wasn't going to pay that for the magazine. And every time I tried to look at it in the checkout, I would get busted, and they would say, "Are you going to buy that?" MTV came out in the 80s, and if you didn't have $800 to buy a VCR to record those videos, which I didn't at first. By gosh, what are you going to get there with your camera and take a picture? There's Pat Benatar. Pooh, take a picture of her so you can develop it and put it in the bathroom, try and make that makeup look. I just talked about this not too long ago in a video where I was saying like Boy George, Patti Smith, Pat Benatar, because in the 80s they were getting all out there with the color and stuff. I would get off work and I would go home and I would sit at my vanity and then I would try to recreate the looks I was seeing on MTV, but with limited amounts of makeup. I was very limited in the colors that I had and I had to try to make those work, and I used to love the Mary Kay ones that you get wet. And how hygienic was this? I would take the little brush, okay, and go in my spit and get it wet and put it on my face. Use that same brush and do it again tomorrow. I would only wash it out if I was actually going to change colors. I'm like, they're my germs. The typical girl in the 80s that I knew didn't have all that makeup. You're right, it was like 2 colors. But me, I'm like mixing colors and stuff, trying to get more colors so I can be like the MTV people. Tammy wants to basically know anything other than makeup or skincare. She wants to know what were my favorite movies, TV shows, food, recipes, etc. And what news stories really caught your attention and that you followed. I don't know that we can really get into this without getting into politics, so we're probably not going to dwell here. The main point to take away from this is that I have always been the kind of person who tries not to watch the news. It gives me anxiety. It truly does. I actually got so bad at one point in my life that I didn't want to go to my mailbox because I was scared something was going to happen to me. For real, this was a long time ago. This was actually back in the 80s. Today, I guess they probably have a name for this. I don't know. So I use Shy Guy pretty much as a filter for what's happening in the world. He keeps me informed if there's something major going on that I should know about. We don't know what would happen, actually, if something ever happened to Shy Guy, because I probably would never know what was going on around me if so. But most of that is political, and we're not going there. Favorite movies for this year? Gosh, there's a lot of movie watching that goes on here. Let's tackle the theater. I've only been twice, and that was to see Mamma Mia 2 and Downton Abbey. Both of those movies I really did enjoy and like. Mamma Mia 2 was actually a movie that most of the time the sequels to a movie, for me, I just don't care for them. I don't think they can do better than the first movie. That was not the case with Mamma Mia 2 for me, because Mamma Mia 2 answered the questions that I had about Mamma Mia that they never went into. Like how Donna actually got herself in the situation where she was with 3 guys at around the same period of time, that because she didn't seem like that kind of girl. So I liked Mamma Mia 2 a lot. On Netflix, too many. There's just too many for me to tell you. I love so many movies that, and as a chronic pain patient, I can tell you that I'm probably not alone here in saying that's your main source of entertainment is television, movies, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. The boob tube is your entertainment because you can't really get out and do. TV shows, I will tell you that the biggest surprise to me is The Walking Dead. Okay, everybody, and I do mean everybody in my family, watches The Walking Dead. They have the statues, blankets, shirts, the whole thing. Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. But me, no. I'm like, never. Why would I want to watch a show about zombies? A, that's stupid. 2 is like gross, right? I'm not watching that. Guess who watches and likes The Walking Dead? It all came about because of my sister. We went out to dinner one night and we were talking, and I wanted her to watch this show and she refused, and I really wanted to watch the show, so she refused until I said I would watch The Walking Dead. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll watch it, because I did try to watch it once. I watched up until probably the first zombie appeared on the screen, and then I went, nope, not for me, click. She's like, just give it the first season. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it to the first season. And she was right. You get invested in the characters, and as the show goes forward, the zombies, yeah, they're there, but it's the storyline. Here's the thing that you're going to realize if you watch The Walking Dead. Here's the thing that you're going to realize really quickly. You don't need to fear the zombies. You need to fear people. I could see how this could actually be how it is in an apocalyptic world. Take the zombies out, just the people and their behavior. Oh my gosh, talk about that for number 1. A series that I'm really enjoying right now is the Great British Baking Show. I'm obsessed with this show, and I get to thinking that I'm a baker too. Right? And then I go in the kitchen and take a zester and take my finger off. So. And my favorite recipe currently is the keto lasagna recipe that I showed you guys on Instagram that I was making. I've talked to you about it in a video before. That's just the most yummy thing. I love that. And it's not my recipe. I have doubled and changed a few things in it, so maybe it is my recipe, but the idea for these noodles, which are cheese noodles, was not my original thought. Twilight Babe 123 says, "'Tis the season, so how about sharing a kindness story?" It could be personal or a story that you heard that really had an effect on you. It's funny. I listen to a fair share of gossip and titillating stories, but the stories that stay in my mind and heart tend to be the ones that are about kindness. An act of generosity that often includes anonymity and really makes you embrace humanity and inspire love. She hits on something here that I really believe is key in a blessing. And that would be the act of being generous while being anonymous. How about this? Oh, I knew a little family, and the dad had been put out of work, and the mom was off on maternity leave, and they had a little baby at home, and it was really cold, and they didn't have enough money to go to the grocery store, and the unemployment check wasn't in, and they needed food, formula, diapers, and I knew somebody who took and bought all of those things and then took them and just put them on their porch and left. Totally anonymous. If you want to run around and do this and tell everybody what you did, that kind of tramples on the blessing. Because I really believe that God will reward you and give you blessings when you are a blessing to other people. And you know what? That doesn't even have to be a financial thing. You don't have to take your grocery money this week and go buy someone groceries and go stick it on their porch. I'm just saying that's a story I know of. I was just at the hardware store over the weekend. There's an older woman. She's not having a good day. People are being cranky. They're doing stupid things in the line, and I can't believe how people were acting this weekend. I really can't. It's hard standing there, cashing people out. People are being upset. You're standing in one place the whole time. You're older. It's cold out. She's working in front of doors that keep opening and letting the cold in. And as we approached, I just said, "Your makeup sure looks beautiful. I love your eyeshadow." She got the biggest grin on her face. She was so happy. It was like an instant facelift, She went from like this to just lit up. And, she was smiling the whole time that we were checking out. I made a little small chit chat as she was bagging up the stuff. But her whole demeanor changed. She stood up straighter. She was smiling. The next person that was in line, they benefited from that smile. I looked over my shoulder as we left and watched, and she had like a spring in her step then. And that made me feel good to make her feel good. Julie says, "I'm in the market for some decent makeup brushes and would love your thoughts on any recent purchases or suggestions based on what you own. Are name brands worth the investment?" The older I get, the more convinced I am that the answer to that question is yes. Mature eyes, even more so. If you have really wrinkly, slack skin on your lids, you probably are going to have a lot better time if you're not using scratchy Morphe brushes. Morphe just come off the top of my head. There are other brush brands out there that are scratchy and very inexpensive. There's also very inexpensive brands that aren't scratchy. For example, anybody I have listed below is good. I have brush brands down below. They are affiliate links. Thank you if you use those links. You keep this channel going by using the affiliate links that I have linked below. Seriously, I pay for my internet and the makeup and stuff I review here for you. I pay for that with the proceeds of this channel. So when you use those links, you're helping me stay here. If you want me to go away, don't use the links and buy things. Those brushes can range from Royal Langnickel, Moda Brush, Elf, Sigma, all the way up to Sonia G, Wayne Goss, Chikahodo. These are my favorite higher end brushes. My whole Christmas gets forfeited to these brushes this year. 2 years ago, it was Wayne Goss. Okay, to me, it's worth it. These brushes are so soft, and if you like to do, looks with eyeshadow where you've got like a crease color, a transition, you're working your outer V, then this is worth the investment. But if you're like somebody that just wants to hurry up, bang out a crease color and go, and that's the extent, then, Sigma brushes will hold up forever. Yes, I am an affiliate of Sigma. I'm also an affiliate of Royal Langnickel. I earn a commission when you buy these brushes. By the way, I also have 30% off for you. So that is below for Sigma brushes. I take less of a commission so you can save more. I love my Sigma brushes. I've had them for years. They work beautifully. I would say if you don't have a lot of money and you want to invest in some good makeup brushes to start with, Sigma makes some really good ones. You've got those kinds of brushes and you want to step up your game, or you have really sensitive eyes, then here you go. These I don't get a commission on. I just like them. Anne wants me to talk about menopause And oh, that's funny. She's gonna send me a menopause version of Alicia Keys' song Girl on Fire. Menopause, girl on fire, get it? Okay, she's so funny. Sherry G wants me to expand on the darn doctors that overprescribe medications, and that is an entire video. I had shared with her my story about being prescribed blood pressure medicine when I didn't actually need blood pressure medicine, and what that did to my body and my life. And it was a 3-year journey back from this, and that's an entire video, so I might cover that sometime in a Get Ready With Me. Makeup Lover 68 just wants everybody to know that I have the funniest followers, and you're right, I do. Lisa Kalmbach, I think that's how you say it, says, 1, people assuming gray hair means you're deaf, dotty, or both. Oh, really? No. 2, lack of understanding about chronic pain and illness. She has severe RA and regular flares. I am so sorry, Lisa. So sorry. Some people at work look at me funny when I walk in using my cane, like I'm faking for sympathy. Okay, yes, I touched on this earlier. 3, young people assuming that because you're over 50 that your opinions, experience, and contributions aren't valid or wanted. So I already talked about the chronic pain stuff earlier, but I am so sorry that is your life, Lisa, and I sincerely hope that you are able to find something that brings you relief. The gray hair thing, yeah, I get it. Did I ever tell you guys about me and the girl at the CVS? Most people say, they really like my hair. A lot of people will say to me, now none of these are young people, okay? Young people like my son's age and whatnot, most of them do this, where they think I'm old, okay, because I have gray hair. And I can't really get too upset because I can remember being 18 years old and asking someone seriously to shoot me if I ever turned 40. Because I thought that was old. And then the next day I was 40. So, but I do not like it when people who are actually older view having gray hair as being like a sign of giving up. I don't think that I look like I've given up. I think that my hair is trendy and I really like it. It is a fashion choice for me, if you will, to let my gray come out. And it's more than just, I don't want to color my hair anymore. I haven't personally been treated like I'm deaf or dotty, but I have heard younger people do this, okay? And what's worse is when you have someone who's not young do it. So I went to the CVS and there's the girl behind the pharmacy counter. She needs to see my ID because what I'm getting is my monthly pain pills. And she looks at my ID and says, I need to see your ID. And I think I put this on Instagram, to which I told her that is my ID. And then I realized that I don't have gray hair in that picture. But to me, I still look the same, just different color hair. And I said to her, I go, oh my goodness, I haven't gotten that changed yet. I said, do you think it makes that big a difference? She said, yeah, I thought you were your mother. That really bothered me, and I didn't let it go. I come back at her and I said, you gotta be kidding. And she goes, no, you look so much younger and with your hair not gray. Now you know that I wanted to come back at her with a remark about how she would look better if she took off a few pounds and wore some makeup, maybe even combed her hair. But I did not. I let that go. Cindy Bryan wants to know how I deal with my chronic pain. I've already expanded on that a little bit. And she has been living with pain for 10 years now. And I'm so sorry. Hasn't been able to work for the last 4 years. I get that. And she also wants to know how I came to terms with losing that part of my independence. And the truth of that is that you never really do, I don't think. I don't think that anyone actually wants to be bedridden or feel like they're an inconvenience to others because they can't keep up. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I would cry and feel sorry for myself almost every time I watch Dancing with the Stars. Some days I wallow in it and I'm like crying over it and everything else, but I try really hard to, when I get there, be grateful and count my blessings for what I do have. Even if it's like things you overlook. Thank you, Lord, that I can breathe. Thank you that I can see. Thank you that I hear. And then when I get done with that, I feel like I'm actually really blessed. I just have this one thing. Angela says, you put on your makeup so effortlessly. Is that just what we see? And she also says, which I know, that Angela suffers from MS. And in her country, she's had the pain relief gel that she used taken away. If you guys can think of anything for her that might help her relieve that pain, please put that down below for her. Her name's Angela Jane Lomax. Find her comment and please let her know, because you could actually be helping somebody if you know of a way for her to get some relief. But as to your question, Angela, absolutely 100%, that is not the way it is all the time. Most of the time what I do is I just like fix it and we have a new look. Not the look I intended on, just a different look. But, you know, because I don't want to take all that off and start all over, so I'll just turn it into something else. But that wasn't what was in my head. That's not what I thought I was going to do. Cheryl Pete says, I'd like to know more about eye makeup for people with dry eye and very allergic eyes. Me too. I love eye makeup, and I can't use anything from the drugstore or department store anymore. I can only send away for EWG products and then only use them occasionally. Thank you. I would actually also like to know the answer to what she's wanting to know. Cheryl, I don't know it. My own mother stopped wearing eye makeup. No mascara, no eyeshadows, nothing. And now she's having a problem with lipsticks. So she's very, very sensitive. I can remember when I was young, my mother did wear makeup, but something happened and she got to where she couldn't put any kind of eye makeup on her eyes because she would itch and her eyes would become inflamed and stuff. And I would like to know the answer to this as well. If you know the answer to what Cheryl or my mother, if she should choose to do it, what they can do, a brand they can wear, please list that below. I think that would be helping more than just Cheryl. And that's it, guys. So I just looked and this video is like over an hour and 50 minutes. Do you think I'll be able to get it down to 20? That's what usually happens. We'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed my answers to your questions. I thought this was really fun. I hope you did as well. And I also hope that you always know that you're the best part of the Fritzy family. To me, you are. I love you so much. Come here. Come here. Come on, let me give you a nice big hug. If you guys aren't having a blessed day, I invite you to go out and be a blessing in some way. It doesn't even have to be a big way. Just do something for someone else where you get nothing in return except for a feeling in your heart like you just did something really good. Don't share that with anyone. Just keep it locked up like a secret inside. And see if your day doesn't get better. I know mine always does. And until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
Ooh, depends. The word depends means that my bladder sling isn't working anymore. It means I'm back in diapers. Those Pats are not gonna win the Super Bowl this year. To the original, but getting more. Woo! We don't even need to discuss that, do we? You know what that's not. How many women do you know that are running around with a pecan pie in their jean butt thing, you know? You'd be like, hot flash, square pants. Hot flash, square pants. Heartache, bang, bang. I am a warrior. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong key. Hang on. I am the warrior. Oh, wow. I'm so embarrassed. My voice isn't very good. And they didn't have all the colors of the wind. You know that I'm going to be singing Pocahontas. You know I'm going to make Pocahontas proud. Gossip and titillating. Tits up. Titillating. Is tits a cuss word? No, it's not. It's like hell. Hell's not a cuss word. It's a place. And tits is a body. Ow! Whoa. The more I know the answer to that question is yes. And it would be, why are you hitting yourself like that? Boom, boom. Oh my gosh. Look, there's a welt. I'm sure that there are a lot of people who wouldn't. What's this? What you doing? What you doing? Like your hand is a different part of your body? It is, by the way. In case you want to know, your hand is a different part of your body. You know, when I would watch Dancing with the Stars, I might, I think I could earn money doing scat.